Hello and welcome back to this little post-game breakdown. We have a clip from one of those pivotal fights which did happen here. This is going to be around about the 32-minute mark on that crazy Hex Tech Gate Baron. So we're going to go straight back into this and see how things are rolling if we do actually have the clip on here, waiting for it to load up. But of course, when it gets to this point, we know that the Mad team comp is one which has very little engage, has good range, has very strong backline carries, and if they do get that Baron, it's going to be very dangerous for the side of... Okay. Just hearing now that we do have a couple of errors, so wait on us just one moment. Going to go back up to the decks and try this again later.
Yeah, so we don't have a chair for you, bro.
Yeah,
this is, I mean, like, look,
this is great. I can walk off here. I can just keep walking.
You just keep walking in a lap. I'll scoot this way.
Lovely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we here at the LEC have a history of rivalry with the Telestrator, and it's come to a head where I'm declaring open war.
I feel like I've been treated. You know, I get shares on demand. It's wonderful.
It's fine. I'm just going to tell you right now, this is the gauntlet. I wish I could tell you this was planned, but this is like when Yamato came on, technology. Everyone, Caedrel, technology. We are cursed.
Everyone
is the easiest thing to say. When we get that clip up and available, what I would love to do instead is, as long as we have EVS, the guys in charge of the replay, listening, if you can call when you want it to pause, Nymaera, tell us what you were going to say with the power of drawing, with just your words.
So I can do that. I'm good at describing things. So obviously the start of this fight is very much about BDS trying to fight tooth and nail to deny this Baron. You can see the team from Mad doesn't have great engage, but their siege is awesome. Their damage is incredible. If you could just pause right here, just very quickly, what you can see now is BDS trying to go for this last ditch and say, we cannot allow all of these Barons to escape. And they start getting a little bit over-aggressive with how they're trying to close down these carries. Because you might think, okay, there are some half healths here. We can do something with this. If we just keep rolling, watch what happens when it's just one solo laner trying to get onto one of these carries. See here, Flay comes out. First amount of cooldowns comes out. And then even though all of these come through, pause here. So what we see at this point is Kaiser is out of this fight. Kaiser has used most of his rotation already, but you haven't killed the carries just yet. And by the time Thresh re-enters this fight, he's got his cooldowns back. Play it out again. We've got Camille in the fight. Camille hasn't got any summoners at this point, so if we just keep rolling the clip, please. See, once again, Rika managed to use his summoners at this point. They still can't get onto him. Varus is far too out the way, and look what Kaiser does. Has the second round of cooldowns back up. And at this point, you can see the power of Thresh dealing with diving threats onto his backline. The carries are safe because BDS's solo lanes can't quite close them down coordinated enough.
There was a cool little thing that I noticed there as well. Armut's smokescreen actually blocked vision from Limit, which meant that he completely missed all of his utility as Rika flashed over the wall as well. So just a small little interaction there, because I was very skeptical of this Graves pick. It's cool that I had some value. Doesn't mean that I still like the draft that came out from Mad Lions overall.
The key thing for me about this Mad team comp is that they are so strong. If you are coming into them and they are efficient at using their abilities, what we saw there is when it got to the late game, because they had the lower cooldowns even on their supports as well, that became really, really important in how you can't quite close down those carries, and they have so much damage to turn these fights around.
Let's take a look again at that draft, though, because I think this is something that we've been kind of going back and forth on. Obviously, this game was chaotic. It could have gone either way. Both teams drafting for different win conditions. But when we look at it, I think the Graves top is such an interesting point because, as highlighted, when you play into it, the smokescreen feels pretty good. It kind of reminds me of the infamous late-game Renekton. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, like, everyone's like, late-game Renekton's trash. It's like, yes, but if you dive on to late-game Renekton, he just stuns you. And look, smokescreen, in some ways, way better than Renekton W. In some ways, way worse. But it's similar vibes.
You try aiming skill shots while blinded.
So the thing about the Graves is, like, it's a pretty contentious topic right now in terms of, like, well, how good is it? Well, the truth is that it is a weak side, strong top laner that scales. He doesn't have a bad laning phase, but he doesn't need resources. You can leave him by himself, and he'll offer value pretty much at every stage of play in terms of lane, side laning, damage, all that good stuff. The problem is, and this is where I have a really big issue with it, you're against LeBlanc and Camille, right? And so these two champions are not only super mobile, but they also have very easy access onto your carries, and they work very well in side lanes. They often outscale almost anything that you can throw against them in a side lane, and like their mobility is a really big problem, especially when we look at things like skirmishes. And this was actually something we saw a lot of in the early game and why Mad ended up falling short, because the skirmish power of this comp from BDS was like, we go for a bit of an engage. Oh, okay, fine, we'll back off. And then the re-engage comes through, and they're just so mobile and with like very little crowd control on the side of Mad Lions. I think that there were more options that they could have gone for that would have made this game a lot easier for them to execute.
But what did we say at the start of this game, though? We said that Mad Lions still trying things out, still experimenting a bit, and I actually really appreciate that they went for a hard-to-execute comp with some real payoffs at the end of it. To me, that's a bit of a confidence move, and it could have slapped them.
See, he's
really optimistic perspective, but I get to be the good cop today.
So one of the things that I was speaking with Caedrel about was he was like, so the problem that you have, which is fair play to Mad Lions, is like drafting against Adam on red side, because I was like, well, I think Gangplank makes a lot of sense. And he's like, well, if you blind pink Gangplank into Adam, he's picking Olaf and he's going to murder you. I was like, well, okay. And they were like, well, what else could he go for? Well, he could go for Ornn. Like, yeah, but he's going to pick something else like Darius. That's again,
as much as I would love to go into the depths of depravity that is drafting for and against Adam's champion pool, we do have an interview on standby here. So let's talk it over to Koolein and Kaiser to talk about that chaotic win and maybe even chaotic draft against BDS.
Thank you very much, Drakos and Kaiser. Yeah, chaotic might be one way to describe that game. How do you feel about that win?
It actually kind of felt like winning, I don't know, Worlds Finals or something, like getting a win like that, 45 minutes, I think it was, or something. I mean, it was just crazy, right? Like back and forth, Baron, maybe even an Elder coming up, right? It just felt like an eternity, right? And after we got a pick on Leona, I knew the game was like kind of in our bag, and then yeah, that was just relief.
Yeah, it went very back and forth, and it's interesting that Des already start talking about the draft, but they mainly talk about what happened at that Baron. We see a lot of things happening right there. It's very chaotic, but I kind of want to know, how was the communication between you guys?
I mean, the communication coming up to the Baron, I think it was kind of rough for us because we don't have that much to engage, right? And to keep the Zanzarah out of the pit was pretty hard for us because we only kind of rely on my hook, right? And if he dodges that, like, he's free to do whatever he wants for like the next 8-10 seconds, right? And they have a lot of poke with Varus and LeBlanc coming in, right? And yeah, we just had to kind of flip it in a way, right? And like, trust me to hit the hook, and yeah, we got the Nash. So yeah, that was a big win for us afterwards.
I mean, you named the hook, but I kind of feel when you pick up that Thresh, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're also there to support Unforgiven a lot on the Aphelios, and that the main task is to keep Adam away on the Camille.
I mean, for sure. I think the Camille was still annoying for us, right? Like, they played some fights really well, and like the Camille just dove in really deep. But since he had no flash, like, he could never dodge my hook if he actually went too deep. And we really kind of after the mid game, after we got caught a few times, we like developed this game plan that we just like kill the Camille when she like ints or like when she goes too deep because she can't get out, right? Yeah. Since she has no flash, and she had GA after some time, but I think GA usually doesn't really help you if you go too deep because you will just die again, right? And after we developed that game plan, I think it was a lot easier for us to play team fights. And yeah, like Camille was not as useful in the late game anymore because the Victor and Aphelios just kept scaling and just kept one-shotting her.
Yeah, I think you had a lot of options with the comp you drafted here. Now, I do want to focus a bit more on Unforgiven. He's one of the rookies we've been talking about a lot. It's a rookie that has been showing a lot of promising things. How's it for you as his direct lane buddy on his performance these first 4 weeks?
I mean, I think he developed really great, actually. Like, at the start, we had some like troubles with like wave control or like moving, for example, or not being too greedy. I think that's like stuff that every ERL ADC kind of has troubles dealing with, especially because he always plays strong side, I think, on his team. So coming like into Mad Lions, which traditionally only played weak side bot lane, right? It was a bit different for him for sure, but I think we taught him well, and I think he also like adapted really well, and I think we could see that like he's just a really strong player, right? Like individually, like he's performing in team fights, he's performing in laning phase. For example, today as well, like he got a solo kill on Xmati, right? Which like kind of kept us in the game. So yeah, I'm really happy with his performance. I think he's a really great guy as well. So there's not really anything to complain about with him.
It's all good to hear all these things about Forgiven, about his performance and all that stuff. But I need to give it to you, Kaiser. You are the key player of the game.
Oh, I mean, I'm happy for that because I think I didn't get a single one this season yet, so I didn't really perform that well in the season compared to like my last few splits. So yeah, I'm really happy that I can maybe show some good performances here and then again.
Kaiser, I am going to thank you a lot for all your insights, and we are going to head on over to our next game, which is going to be Vitality versus Astralis. We're going to go to Matic and Cathedral.
Thank you very much. I am joined by Cathedral, the hallowed ground of Challenger achieved by him today. Yes, he's a dirty Zilean one-trick, but...
No. No, everyone's banning it now.
You can't say, yeah, but you're still a one-trick.
No,
just because it's banned
playing a
against
mid
you.
laner mid doesn't mean that you're a one-trick. It just means that...
Okay, so of your last 20 games,
yes,
how many were Zilean?
20. However, it's still a mid laner.
That's true, but it's still a one-trick. I'm a Rakan one-trick. I will happily admit that, and I play at support.
Okay, but it's not like, Janna smite top or any kind of whack tech. I'm not cheesing. I'm just playing Zilean. I'm losing my lane. I'm happily missing cannon minions, and I'm pressing R.
That's what you were doing when you weren't playing Zilean as well, so it's much better for you now. Anyway, so Vitality up against Astralis is our third game of the day. Rounding out the first round robin of the LEC, we are halfway through the regular season, and when you look at these two teams, it's a vast chasm between their performances so far.
I mean, Astralis still yet to pick up a win. If they get it against Vitality here, I mean, props to them, it's great. But the thing is, they've got so many losses right now that looking forwards towards Week 7, Week 8, playoffs, it's dire. I think the playoffs record for making it in is 9-9 is the safe spot, 8-10, you're teetering on the edge. If you've already got 7 to 8 losses already, up against teams that are like Rogue, G2, sometimes when you're looking at the split, you're kind of looking at guaranteed losses and guaranteed wins. And right now, this has to be a win for them to clench some kind of hope.
Okay, Caedrel, I've been doing some studying. I've been doing some...
What have you been studying?
Pick ban prep. Are you ready for this?
Okay, yeah, hit me with your master tier pick ban prep medic. Hit me.
Vitality will ban Zeri, Twisted Fate, and Corki on the red side.
Okay, well, let's keep our eyes on it. I think Astralis are going to ban... Caitlyn? Karma? Maybe? I don't know.
It's definitely a possibility.
Caitlyn Thresh this time. So I lost already. It's all up to you, medic. I'm rooting for you here, buddy.
I mean, considering I picked the 3 champions that have been banned in basically every single game this weekend on red side, I don't feel like I've pushed the boat out too far, but I'll take all the plaudits I can get.
Yeah, we definitely will. I mean, we're 2 for 3 right now. Will they leave Corki up for Dajor? There's the Caitlyn ban, so at least I got one right.
Good job, good job.
Dajor has played Corki, of course, once this split, obviously still not found a one on anything at all. Vitality should know that they're the favorites coming into this, and being the favorites is all good and dandy, but you don't want to disrespect too hard. Yes, Astralis has lost every single game, but is it the time to start playing some wacky picks when Vitality already picked up, I think, 4 losses so far in this split? Probably not, but no, it's a Trundle ban. They've left Corki open. Now in LCK, they normally sometimes leave open Corki and pick Tryndamere mid into it. Okay. Maybe the top teams in the LCK looking at T1 and stuff like this. I'm not sure if Vitality want to do the same kind of thing, but we'll have to see what their option is, because of course leaving Corki open, they must have a counter for it.
They definitely have something in their back pocket. Of course, the Trundle ban targeted at Zanzarah. He's played that twice already this season as one of his signature picks, we will say. With the Corki locked in, Vitality going through the motions of deciding what they want to pick first here. Of course, things like the Lee, the Jhin, the Thresh, the Jinx, the Aphelios, all still options for them.
Definitely are, and Renekton's up as well. See if they want to opt into that. Don't tend to see too much Renekton prio anymore, because it feels like without Diana, it's not really worth picking, and then you're forced into things like Nidalee. So we'll see if Vitality want to opt into it. Of course, Jayce is open. Alphari special. Maybe pick Jayce on 3 and ban out 2 champions. Give him a pretty free lane phase, but like you said, Aphelios, Thresh, insta-lock there. Astralis now to respond. Do you pick bot lane as well, match you with something like a Jinx, or do you just go full top side, take away that Renekton, take away one of the strong junglers? Zhao picked up now for Astralis.
And they will have a strong mid-jungle duo. Jhin, Corki can do a lot of work. And alongside that, Jayce for WhiteKnight in the top lane. So it is a very strong top side for Astralis already locked in.
Yeah, taking away the Jayce from Alphari, I think they know the draft pretty well themselves. If we leave Jayce open, they're going to pick it on 3 and ban 2 tops. WhiteKnight's going to have a tough task ahead of him, so let's deny it. And Alphari's going to match that with a Camille. So both teams have different priors right now, where Vitality still yet to pick up their mid-jungle, and Astralis yet to pick up their bot lane. We're probably going to see things like Jinx ban, perhaps, maybe a Senna ban. ban still open. See if that gets taken away. Jhin are the kind of AD carries that come to mind.
Of course, Kobbe, promisq have been playing Xayah Rakan a few times in succession as well, so a possible Rakan ban, but instead Nautilus taken away by Vitality to start us off.
Yeah, tends to be good into Thresh, of course. The Nautilus pick, it was banned out, I believe, last game on 4-5 or in the Misfits game, I can't quite remember, when the Thresh was picked up. So support bans is where Vitality is going to target. Now, do you target jungle here or mid? You could take away things like Lee Sin, Viego, but then Selfmade can happily pick things like Olaf and Gwen. Or do you target Perkz for this Corki pick? Victor open, Orianna open. I think control mages do well into it. Syndra, of course, notoriously good into the Corki.
Yeah, get rid of some of Perkz' strength in the mid lane. Corki scales so well, as does Jayce. So Astralis, if they can keep even in the early game, do have a composition that will work well to poke out Vitality later on. But of course, poke compositions work best when you have control over objectives first, when you can gain vision control around them and just poke out your opponents. So I'll have to see if Astralis are able to maintain parity, at least in the early game.
Yeah, Xayah ban taken away there. Of course, as you said, they played 3 games of Xayah. Rakan just want to make sure they deny that bot lane, which just has good self-peel, right? Yeah. Xayah has such good self-peel, especially with Rakan by her side. When you have Camille who's diving onto those champions, you want to make sure you actually lock onto their carries pretty well. And of course, right now, if you look at the 3 champions on both sides, you said it, poke on one side, engage kind of on the other. Good scaling from the Aphelios, good engage with Gale Force, and really good 1v1 potential. We'll see if Vitality want to kind of follow up with more engage here. I think Gwen on 4 could be a good AP jungler if they want to play an AD mid on 5, or Lee Sin, Viego are up for Selfmade.
Of course, picking the jungle here as well gives you that option to lock in. Well, you already know the mid that you're countering, but something like the Tryndamere that can be hampered a little bit by some other picks could be a good final pick for Vitality. There's the Lee Sin. AD jungle does imply that we're going to see an AP mid laner.
Yeah, I think something like Vex on 5 here would be fantastic for Vitality. It's just a full dive comp, isn't it? So how does Astralis want to match it? Do they want to pick something like Senna Tam Kench, which we've seen into Thresh? Do they want to pick something like Jhin Leona into it? Jhin Leona, classic LPL bot lane there. They love to slam Jhin Leona on 1-2. Now, last pick here for Vitality. Perkz has played 1 game of Vex against, I believe it was Nuktak. Did struggle in the lane phase, but I think he was running something like Ignite, so the lane was just naturally hard. Orianna would work as well. I mean, you've got Camille, you've got Lee Sin, 2 divers you can put the ball on. They'll lock onto Jayce. So just a little bit more scaling and wave clear to make it safe for Vitality. Don't over-enforce this damage kind of dive comp, because then you lack a little bit of wave clear.
Vitality with a relatively strong composition, especially when it comes round towards team fights. Astralis have a little bit of poke, the utility that a Jhin can provide in starting off those fights as well.
A lot of poke, really, isn't it? I mean, Corki Rockets, Jhin W follow-up, Jhin Ultimate, JCQ. I think they have so much poke. Good disengage as well with the Zhao. Worst case scenario, that can peel for the 2 carries against the Camille. So yeah, very stock standard compositions coming out. Engage for Vitality, good scaling on both their carries. Vice versa for Astralis, really good poke, not so much engage, barring the Leona. Ultimate will be the main source of engage against the Thresh, not very reliable, but still a lot of poke to work with around these objectives. I think when you're looking at just lane prio overall, Astralis will have top push. I think mid push will go in favor of Vitality, as will bot push, so we'll see how both junglers kind of dissect the map.
Have to always keep our eyes on the junglers in the early game. Astralis will be trying to get through that early game unscathed, but they have been relatively muted so far. Minus 1.6k at the 15-minute mark on average throughout spring 2022. And if they do fall behind, poke comps really struggle against compositions that are ahead just because they're too darn tanky for you to do too much.
Astralis first Vitality!
Good one, Caedrel.
I heard those.
And on to Summoner's Rift we go. As you said, as you exclaimed so tremendously, so triumphantly, Astralis versus Vitality is where we'll be for the 3rd game of today. Having a quick look across our runes and masteries, nothing too surprising. No flashes on the top lane Camille, something we see relatively often. She's gone for the grasp for those extended trades. First strike on Dajor on this Corki. Of course, with the rockets, you can get a lot of that early damage out, and you put more damage out, you get more gold in the equation as well.
First strike rune just scales really, really well. Of course, it's kind of like a... It's very comforting to be able to proc your first strike in lane phase itself, but against Orianna, that's going to be very, very difficult to do. I think some mages, like Victor especially, can go first strike if they're into melee matchups, because of course you have a free lane. It scales really well, and you can get a little bit of extra goals from the lane phase itself. Looks like Selfmade's going to start solo on the blue buff. Zanzarah getting a leash on bot side. I think he knows his bot lane won't get push. He knows his mid lane won't get push, so he's pathing into his top side to get that early scuttle crab. Selfmade matching though, wants to make sure his Camille can't get dove in the early game. Maybe has some kind of kill pressure if the Jayce walks up too far, but level 6 is where Alphari and Selfmade will probably focus up toward the top side a bit more.
And 2 wards coming out from Vitality up towards that top river early on. We have seen Zanzarah look for those red steals a few times across the course of Spring, so just adding yourself a little bit of protection there. They should expire around the time Zanzarah is going up for the Scuttle Crab, but they give awareness, at least for now, that Selfmade is on a pretty free and clear path to his top side.
Definitely is. So will be quite a quiet early game here. I think Carzzy and Labrov will keep bot push up. It's very hard for them to walk up and try to contest the wave when you're playing Leona, especially level 1. It's Perkz. Does take a slightly bad trade there, but won't be the end of the world. The Orianna obviously outranges the Corki, so the more levels, the better for this champion in lane phase itself. And I think Perkz has been putting on a clinic these last couple of weeks. Week 1, of course, very, very disappointing. A lot left to be desired. As the hook goes wide, but still, from that G2 game onwards, it really feels like Perkz has kind of found his form.
Yeah, definitely coming back towards what we knew him for when he was in Europe a couple of years ago. Still not quite there yet, but having strong performances over the last 2 weeks only builds anticipation come playoffs. Of course, Vitality not guaranteed playoffs. No team really is as of yet, but on their current form, I think a lot of people say they're a shoo-in to make it into our top 6.
Yeah, definitely are. I think the week 1 was just a bit of a hiccup. And I think the only kind of issue I've been seeing with Vitality in the early to mid game is just their top jungle 2v2 looks a little bit off sometimes, a little bit disconnected, whether it's communication or just different ideas in what they want to do. I think the comps they've been drafting have been focused more towards the top side. Especially with that Renekton-Diana combo towards top with Yasuo, as Alphari misses the E there. Selfmade's around, so again, looks for the gank, doesn't work out in the end. They know there's a ward in river, but still aren't able to land the CC for the follow-up.
And one benefit there for Zanzarah is he can immediately just go to this Scuttle Crab without having to hover topside to make sure that Selfmade couldn't find that gank. With the grapple missing, Zanzarah gets top Scuttle and knows that his top laner is safe as houses. Selfmade spotted on a ward here as well as he works his way down towards the bottom side. Looks like he skipped out the wolves on his first clear alongside those Razorbeaks, so we'll now go and collect those souls for this second rotation.
Yeah, looked like he went for a quick level 3 towards the top side. He's going to backtrack down now. Should be able to get this bot crab pretty free now. A lot of junglers with tunnel vision on, oh, I got top crab and the enemy jungler's top. I can get bot crab as well. That's not really the case anymore because, yes, Scuttle Crab is weaker and the gold is nice still, but both mid and bot are pushing in, so it's a little bit risky to just give up your position or just try to contest. When the enemy jungle shows top, you can always backtrack back down. Selfmade's going to ward out Zanzarah's second Krugs respawn. Now he's hovering around the bot side. Kobbe has no cleanse, so if the hook hits, he might die.
It's definitely a possibility. Labrov stepping forward, flash, flay, the hook with the root not even needed. Kobbe underneath the tower will survive. promisq will tank up the hook. Zanzarah coming in as well, lands the stun onto Selfmade and is able to force Carzzy away. Vitality invest the flash and the ignite and get 3 summoners for it.
Yeah, that's the danger of not running cleanse on the Jhin there. I mean, the second the Aphelios has the purple gun, can get the root, can get followed up by the hook. Luckily, promisq was sort of blocking it. So Labrov couldn't find the correct angle to follow up with the CC. But anyway, still, summoners out of the AD carry will make that bot lane matchup even easier for Vitality. Only Labrov might have to be careful when they come back from base, but still, lane's going in their favor, and now top as well. Not actually losing whatsoever. Alphari actually able to crash a wave and get a good base off as well. So all these lanes in favor of Vitality so far.
Yeah, it's about getting those base timings off whenever you can. Fake base. No cannon minion here as well. Labrov and Carzzy will use that Infernum just to shove this wave into towers. 6 CS lost. Well, probably maybe 2 or 3. Well, it's probably actually all 6 looking at them. All 6 lost there for Kobbe.
Yeah, smart play there by Vitality. We didn't see it on screen too much, but what they do is they crash a big wave, and then the enemy bot lane thinks, oh, we can push out this wave and base and match their tempo. Joke's on you, as you've based, they've stayed, pushing another wave, and you're going to lose that. And they'll be slightly behind in tempo, but they'll be back in time enough to catch the wave that you decide to push in or stack up. So now they're going to move towards mid. Labrov might want to hover around Perkz to make sure he's safe, and now it's promisq and Zanzarah looking for Alphari here. No flash, of course. Selfmade is running straight top, so maybe there's with this stacking wave, I think Astralis want to make a play on it. Vitality kind of reading it.
The question is if Alphari uses that wall jump proactively, aggressively in this lane. Doesn't really need to do it. WhiteKnight now ticks over to 6. Alphari yet to be there, but should be on this wave. Maybe even after the cannon.
So what's the plan here for Astralis? Are they trying to protect WhiteKnight from the gank setup? or are they trying to stack the wave and dive?
They're looking for Selfmade. They get the stun, they get the root, and there's nowhere for him to go. promisq takes the kill with the Eclipse, and now Alphari, not yet level 6, stunned up once again. No way for him to get out. Astralis with a great play in the top lane to take 2.
Yeah, fantastic map read. Stacking wave top, let's look for the dive. Oh, Selfmade face checks us as well. 2 quick kills for Astralis. That really helps out the Jayce in this carry matchup. Helps out the Zanzarah and the Lee Sin matchup so much as well. So, fantastic map read, and Kobbe loses nothing on the other side. Carzzy has a minor freeze here, which bounce back eventually. So nothing lost on the other side of the map.
It's also one of the benefits of, although Carzzy and Labrov were able to deny a wave bot lane, they had to stay for that little bit longer. So promisq was out and back on the map a little bit earlier. They knew that Kobbe could catch that wave by himself. Labrov would be a little bit late to any play on the top lane, giving promisq probably about 20-30 seconds of extra time to play with.
Yeah, and you can see the top jungle of Vitality maybe a little bit disjointed because Selfmade reads the play that there's a stacking wave coming, but then he's instantly face-checking the support jungle. And now, of course, it's very hard for them to have tracks as to where promisq is because they expect him to running back bot. So, yeah, a lot of disjointed stuff coming in from Vitality. I mean, maybe they could have set up a bit better for this top stacking wave. Or, I mean, Selfmade wants to cover the dive, but he's face-checking the tri-bush. Anyway, 2 kills to Astralis. Good early game start for them. I think their carry potential is always coming from the top side in this draft, and we're already ahead.
Zanzarah with 2 assists to his name as well. promisq getting that early kill. We'll give him a no magic medicine and some boots, which is nice.
No flash on Labrov. promisq can hex flash over, and Zanzarah can follow with flash as well.
He can just play away the Zenith Blade, but Zanzarah is there for the chase. The Lancer comes down, but the Q3 knockup will be enough. Labrov gifted to Kobbe.
Yeah, so a lot of plays happened top, and then all that time, Kobbe had a little bit of a freeze against... Carzzy had a little bit of a freeze against Kobbe, but that eventually turned into a slow stack. The wave slow pushes into Astralis. Zanzarah makes sure he reads the play, goes towards bot. Labrov no flash from earlier on. Good follow-up, good kill. So Vitality going to answer with a Herald here. They didn't get the Dragon, of course, as Selfmade died top on the first play, but now they're able to cross-map.
And this is always what you expect to see when you get towards these trades on opposite sides of the map. When your bot lane dies, you go towards the top side and try and make a play. But Dajor already here with the package. We're not on 12-3 yet, so that package isn't delayed, but won't be able to do anything about Selfmade and Perkz taking the Rift Herald.
Maybe a minor waste if they can't find anything from it. I mean, the Corki package is just so powerful. Good Herald timer, but yes, because of the bot play, you can't contest this Herald, but maybe you can get some kind of Dragon. Unfortunately, Zanzarah is top side, so he's going to fish a little bit towards the top side here, see if Selfmade goes for a gank. They should know the package is coming, though.
Oh, Alphari goes in with the ult, immediately knocked out of it. WhiteKnight's going to turn it around. Dajor waiting with the package. Selfmade has to flash it, but Alphari doesn't have that summoner and doesn't have a hope of escaping. Selfmade next on the menu, and Astralis constantly finding these picks in the top lane.
Yeah, great play from Astralis, but Vitality are the ones forcing it. They know Corki has package. He just showed towards the top side. They have no vision on top side river because of the pinks placed from Astralis. He just runs top with the package and gets the double kill for them. So, yeah, Vitality top jungle just over-forcing there on the Jayce. Not able to cap close, get his flash, and Zanzarah again runs through lane, counters the gank very well, and they saw Corki with the package just around 10 seconds ago.
Just a little bit over-eager there from Alphari and Selfmade in the top side. And even though this package doesn't connect and the tick doesn't start, Dajor has another Valkyrie to chase Alphari down.
Yeah. Selfmade W's Alphari there to try and give him a little bit of a shield to help him live, but of course then he has no escape himself. So, 5 kills for Astralis in the first 10 minutes of the game to only 1 of Vitality. Around a 2,500 gold, 2.2k gold lead already. This Jayce 2-0 in this Camille matchup, up a level, 3 plates to his name. And Vitality only really have a Herald to work with.
I just want to remind you, Caedrel, before this match started, I told you, Astralis average 1,700 gold behind at the 15-minute mark. Vitality average 1,200 gold ahead. Tables have turned.
Oh, yeah.
Tables have been flipped. The coin is landing heads for Astralis right now, and currently, if you took the nameplates off, everyone would think Astralis were Vitality in this matchup.
Definitely would. Fantastic early game from Zanzarah specifically. Just at the right place at the right time, and practically everything. Him, promisq initially making the play top, and then reading the play bottom, and then reading the play top once again. Perkz might use the ultimate here.
Does have the shockwave. Dajor flashes it. Intelligent use of the flash there. Rift Herald coming down in the mid lane as well. You can see Vitality looking to funnel more and more gold into Perkz. This won't take the tower, but with the Dragon up as well, with Dajor not having flash and no package for him, Selfmade and Vitality can use this opportunity to play towards that bottom side.
Yeah, the one lane that's been quietly winning is mid. Perkz has a CS lead over Dajor because of the roam and now has the plates under his belt as well.
Gold even though. That kill, first strike, helping out a lot for Dajor. Solar Flare comes out. Carzzy dodges to the side of the root and did have to use the cleanse to escape the sun. The stun that the sun brought down.
The stun that the sun brought down, I like it. Definitely did, and just good play from Astralis overall, because that cleanse is going to be on quite a long cooldown. Leona ult will be back up earlier, and that ultimate there was very... I mean, I think promisq was very aware he's going to use cleanse there. He just wants to force it out to make sure they have some kind of bot pressure the next time the ultimate is back up. But Selfmade gets the dragon, and Zanzarah wants to invade his raptors here. No flash, no W.
When becomes lightning, there's the chase. Selfmade has to use the kick just to escape from his own jungle. The Razor Beaks will reset. Zanzarah could be able to secure this one. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Labrov looking for the hook. promisq sidesteps it.
All of Selfmade's top camps are up. Is he going to have to give them up? If he does, it means he's going to have to force something bot side. Watch Selfmade on the minimap. He's sprinting bot. I think they might try to force some kind of dive after Perkz' midwave. Look for some kind of camps. Astralis should read this play and know that their bot lane has to back off. And their jungler is the one winning out here, getting all these camps for himself.
So Dajor has TP, so does WhiteKnight. Astralis may just look to try and answer this, but
wow.
Actually, with this tower almost down, Alphari's just over-pushed here. The tower's going to fall. WhiteKnight just needs one more auto. Takes his time to get it. 610 gold in his pocket. And tick, tick, boom goes Alphari.
Again, great play from Astralis, but Vitality know Xin Zhao's in their topside jungle. Selfmade intentionally ran bot to find something there. And they know Xin Zhao's up there, and he's trying to catch a wave. Perkz has TP, but he can't use it in time because Alphari's trying to run away. So again, very disjointed, this topside map from Vitality, but Astralis are the ones capitalizing on it.
Just really beautiful play from them so far. They've been able to read the map pretty perfectly. 6-1 the scoreline. 4,000 or 3,400 gold ahead right now for Astralis. WhiteKnight 202. Mythic complete Manamune on its way. And it's, although there were lanes that were losing in terms of CS and in terms of push, no lane for Astralis is monumentally behind. They're all like about at least even with their counterparts, if not ahead.
Yeah, or the kills kind of balance it out, right? Mid and bot down in CS, but the kills will always balance it out. The strongest point for the map is their top jungle. And now WhiteKnight pushed top in all the way. And he has TP to TP back to top tier 1 if he wants, so he has so much free time to run bot, help his bot lane get vision, retake some control, run towards mid, take all their vision around there, look for all the pinks. And that's exactly what he's going to do, because being top right now, he has no job, really. Unfortunately, not going to be able to force anything out, so I wonder if Kobbe is going to go top and catch the wave, and then it's going to go for a full kind of lane swap.
With the Rift Toad already being down, it's about a minute away from spawning, so perhaps that lane swap will commence, and Astralis will play for that Rift Toad, because they've still got 2.5 minutes before the next dragon comes out. WhiteKnight's just going to work his way back up towards that top side. And Zanzarah gaining a slight lead in the jungle as well with taking those topside camps. Now got his own red, now can take his wolves and his grump, and there's a scuttle crab up here as well for him to boot. Have some garlic butter crab if he so desires. Maybe even look to catch out Selfmade once again, because right now that 2v2, I take Jayce in every day of the week.
Yeah, WhiteKnight has flash up. A Vitality top jungler are going to look for the play again. Zanzarah is in the vicinity though. Judging by Alphari's position, he definitely wants to look for this play. They have 2 pink walls, but now Zanzarah will show. So now Alphari's in a weird spot where he's just going to have to recall in the alcove, you expect, and then catch top wave. But they know
who's hiding. Alphari tries to jump away. He misses the wall and is met with the fountain. 4th death of the game for the Vitality top.
Astralis smelled something fishy in the top side. 2 pink wards for the top river with no top tier 1. Why would you invest that much vision control if you weren't looking for a pick? And they checked the bushes. Maybe they thought Selfmade and Alphari were in there, and then they caught Alphari in the alcove. That's going to get them a Herald. Now, the only thing Astralis has to do is just play safe on the other side of the map. Watch out for Selfmade.
He's jumping onto Dajor. Does get the package out, means that Dajor can't make that play down towards the bottom lane. And that ward over the wall just helping Selfmade make sure that passive was used.
Yeah, but Dajor just reading the map very well. Again, Astralis just everywhere, basically, covering the plays, right? Dajor doesn't need to be towards the top side. This Herald's pretty much free. Alphari's dead, so I'll go bot, cover any kind of play Vitality tried to do. And that's been the name of the game here, whether it's covering the plays or Vitality not even be able to find their own plays. But Perkz will get this mid tower. Herald was invested earlier on, able to pick it up in the 1v1 now. So that does unlock the map a little bit for Vitality through mid.
And the question now becomes for Astralis, can you continue this? Can you translate this? Can you take this early game lead into the mid game, into the dragon fights, into the possible Baron fights as the game goes on, and actually close this out? Because you have a sizable lead. You are 4,000, 3,500 gold ahead. You have mythics complete across the board. Every lane is in a good position, and the momentum is on your side. But can you actually translate this into your first win of Spring 2022?
Yeah, mid game might be where Astralis struggles. I think when it comes to early game, it all comes down to junglers, supports matching up, or individual mistakes where you can find leads. But now when it comes to mid game, it's more of a team game. But of course, Astralis super favored They have Herald, they can crack open bot tower, they should be able to play for Drake. I think the fact that they have so many options makes it easy for them to decide, right? They're going to trade tier 1 towers on side lanes, but maybe they find a kill.
Labrov with the play, flash done, Solar Flare flashed away, Merc treads there. Paying dividends for Labrov, get him out of the stun before the Solar Flare could find him. Rift Herald was available for Zanzarah, but I think Kobbe and promisq should be able to take this tower pretty much down with the next wave if they stay around. Dragon also secured for Astralis.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to save Herald from mid tower, so this is kind of like a late game invest in stonks kind of play, Medic. So what they'll do is they'll take this bot tower, take the dragon, so it's a 1 dragon for nothing basically trade, even on the towers, but
you hodl onto the Rift Herald.
You hodl.
Hodl for as long as possible.
Diamond hands.
Diamond hands.
But wait, they're not even going to get this tower, so maybe they misjudged because WhiteKnight was hitting Drake. He could have been hitting this tower the whole time, so I think a bit of a blunder there from Astralis. They could have easily taken that bot tower if WhiteKnight just didn't help on Drake, but now they just lost out on the tower trade. They should be able to get it later on, but definitely a mistake.
Just weren't quite able to take that down. Inferno from Carzzy clearing out the wave very quickly towards that bottom side. Once again, the resets come out. The gold lead still only about that 2,000 mark. Actually shrunk a little bit because of that tower trade, but Astralis were able to get their first dragon of the game. With it being a Cloud Soul, neither team too overjoyed with it, but of course, Cloud Soul can be impactful in some of these fights.
I think the issue with Astralis is this is kind of like a snowball play against themselves, because if this bot tower died, they could have pushed bot to tier 2. Jhin would be able to run towards mid. Jayce could push out top, and they could 5-man Herald mid, but now they've quickly realized, hang on a second, we've got no pressure top. I have to base as Jayce and recover my bot side, stop the enemy team from taking our bot tower, and now we've lost full control of the game.
Kobbe Gale Force flashes away Alphari here. TP's coming in though immediately. WhiteKnight's going to join this. Hook goes short. Selfmade not back. Get back under the tower, says WhiteKnight. Selfmade down. Hex flash across the wall. promisq going in. Blade does not connect. The Solar Flare doesn't either. Perkz forced back. Dajor trying to stand at the edge of the box, and Zanzarah's coming in for the flank. Flash. Wind becomes lightning. Still misses, but Carzzy will fall anyway. Perkz now overextended. WhiteKnight and Zanzarah on the chase. Shock blast accelerated to the face of Perkz, and WhiteKnight continues to chase in. No flash is available, but there's a TP, and Dajor is not letting his enemy mid get away like this. Shockwave hits Zanzarah, and he still survives. Astralis clean up the fight in the bottom lane.
I think the Orianna Q damage didn't hit there because Perkz died as it was about to hit Zanzarah, so 4 kills to Astralis. All of a sudden, Vitality had some kind of tempo on the map, some kind of control, and they tried to force, but you're 4-5k gold down and you're diving the enemy team with their bot tier 2. Kobbe dies, yes, but WhiteKnight's TP looks a bit scuffed, but it makes it so he can get there in time to whack Selfmade back under the tower. And then Dajor collapses.
With Lee Sin.
And Alphari, the important thing here is Alphari, look at him on the left side of the map. WhiteKnight pushes him out to move all the way to the top side. So now this 3-man unit of Vitality are getting collapsed on against an Astralis with a gold lead and with a numbers advantage.
It's just such an easy cleanup for Astralis in the end. Perkz did everything he could. Shockwave under the tower almost keeps him alive.
I think the Q damage didn't register because he died as he sent it out. Oh, if it hit, he would have got the kill.
The ball disappears when Orianna does. As we all know from Reddit, the ball is actually the one controlling Orianna. She's just like a flesh suit, and it's the ball that holds the brains.
Oh, really?
No, I just made that up, man.
Oh, okay. I don't know that story. Is that a Reddit story?
I'm pretty sure I read it on Reddit once, but...
You read it on Reddit?
You can read a lot of things on Reddit. Doesn't mean they're all true. Alphari forced away by Dajor. Once again has picked up the package. There's no actual timing for this. Usually you want it around a dragon fight or something, maybe just looking to gain control of this bottom side jungle, but that package will expire before there's any real neutral objective for Astralis to play around.
Yeah, and the small blunder Astralis made on that bot tower has kind of been brushed under the... Yeah. What is it? Brushed under the... Oh, hang on a second.
There's the package. I said there's no neutrals. Astralis weren't looking for something neutral. They were looking for another kill as Labrov falls once again.
I turned to look at Medic for half a second, and all of a sudden Corki's flying in. There goes Labrov. No flash. He gets taken down. Quick pick in the mid lane, and this is the thing. When you take the mid tier 1, you can put a ward in between tier 1 and tier 2 towers, and it gives you so much vision and information. Second Labrov steps up too far. In comes the package, and down goes Labrov. So now... huge gold lead now for Astralis, 5k gold lead. They've got a poke composition, and being ahead as a poke comp is so important because these carries of Vitality, like the Camille and the Lee Sin, they want to dive on you. But if you have vision first, and you can see them coming towards you, you can poke them out before they can actually find an engage angle.
It's the benefit and the cost with a poke comp. Because if you fall behind, you're just tickling the opponents. You're getting some feathers out, you're chucking them at them, and you're like,
and you have to face check.
Yeah, and you have to face check, right? And hope you're allergic perhaps to Goose Down. But right now, Astralis very happy for a Vitality to face check into them. There's no real dedicated tank for Vitality either. You don't have an Ornn who can just walk into the enemy team. You don't have a Gragas who can step forward and then dodge back. Instead, you have Alphari flashless, who's died 4 times so far this game. And you have Astralis looking for their first win of spring. They've been memed a lot this season so far. Last Astralis is what we always hear. Well, currently, I think they're earning their name Astralis because it's Vitality who are taking the L.
Damn, Medic. They might be taking the L. We'll see what they say about it, because now 5 seconds on the Dragon. It will only be the second Dragon for Astralis, so yeah, Vitality happy to give it up. But what can they play for? Nothing really on the map to do so. They can't do a Baron, so again, free objective for them. Astralis can set up towards the top side after this falls. And the key thing for Astralis is just don't make mistakes. Track the Camille, track the Lee Sin. When you look at the enemy team comp, you have to always think to yourself, who's the divers, who's the damage, who's the person I want to kill, most important in the fight, all that good stuff. The only divers are the Camille, Lee Sin, right? If you keep tracking of the Camille, Lee Sin, the Jayce should be fine on side wave, so getting him a little bit of vision and helping him move towards your team and staying together is very important.
WhiteKnight has a single ward here at the moment. TP available for Perkz, but no real ward for him to get to Alphari. Alphari trying to trade here. Second part of the queue does quite a lot of work there from Camille.
You can see that ward there on the blue buff.
Yeah.
WhiteKnight knew the Thresh and Lee Sin were rotating across, so as long as he knows where the playmakers are, he should be able to push these waves safely. And now the game will slow down a little bit until Astralis decide to pull the trigger on the Baron, or if they find a pick, next Corki package will be vital. They could also force a Baron with that Corki package if they want to. And it's all about pushing both sideways in, keeping control vision around mid. With the sideways pushed, you move towards mid, and you keep control of the game. Vitality getting control is dangerous because of the amount of kind of snap engage that they have from the Camille and from the Lee Sin, and the Thresh hooks, of course.
Astralis moving over towards that top side, as you said. Slows the game down a little bit, but they'll want to get as much deep vision as they can into this red side jungle. Perkz and Selfmade trying to double team here, trying to check out as promisq steps in. Selfmade with the kick. Good look for the chase. His Zenith base going to connect, and Selfmade, even with the kickbacks, rooted to the spot. Tries to dodge away. Curtains open. Selfmade almost down. The solar flare from promisq sends his regard. Shockwave comes in with the Crescent Guard. Doesn't block the damage. Drinker healing and up. Perkz down to half. Almost dead to the shock blast. promisq again. Supports. Reign victorious and then die afterwards. But Kobbe gets another in the end. Flashes away from Carzzy, who chases him down. It's a 3-for-3 exchange in the mid lane.
What the hell is going on there? Diving them with the tier 3s at this point. 23 minutes in. promisq has no fear. Alphari might want to fish for more here. If he sees WhiteKnight, he might dash in. Carzzy's right behind him. Is he going to face check WhiteKnight? Yes, he is.
I'm not sure that's the best idea because Dajor is waiting here as well, but the Moonlight Vigil will do a lot of work. Dajor trying to trade onto Alphari. The shield coming out from those adapted defenses. Carzzy does get the flash out of Dajor, and in the end, Vitality actually come out on top in the fight.
Ooh, let's look at the replay, because promisq has massive balls. He just runs in a straight line. Selfmade wards on top of himself, so he can't actually ward jump away. Instead, he just kicks promisq backwards. The Jhin ultimate wasn't blocked here. It's from Perkz, so that just connects onto Selfmade and gets the kill. And then how does promisq finish off Perkz? Does he flash over the wall here and then just dash onto him from the tier 3? I think he does. Zanzarah buys time, of course. In comes promisq from the side. E-flash solo kills Perkz. And then from here, Carzzy just does some 200 years damage, comes in with the Lantern and absolutely cracks down Kobbe as he looks for Labrov. And then the chase comes through later on, and we see WhiteKnight fall. So overall, 4 kills for Vitality, 3 kills for Astralis. No towers fall, but mid and top tower took a little bit of damage.
And it all started around that red side vision, but promisq, Hex Flash, Solar Flare coming out as well. Not a lot of damage here, but Zanzarah is on the chase. Shockwave used there by Perkz, and that actually might trigger Astralis to say Baron is an opportunity. That Shockwave still has a long way before it's off cooldown.
How are they going to force it up? I think Dajor has package in base if he wants to base and TP for it, but no, they're just going to take control of Vitality's topside jungle, dropping some vision down. Zanzarah might have to be careful here for the poke coming out from the carries. Doesn't have flash, of course, and Labrov really struggling on this Thresh. Yes, he has Merc Treads to stop the amount of CC, but once he gets locked down, every single time he has no flash, he just keeps getting picked off randomly by Astralis. Base is coming in. If Dajor has Ludens now in package, I think they have such a strong position to try to force around this Baron. He does indeed. Alphari will get a bot tier 1. And now, how do Astralis want to play the map?
You see, they've already got that deep vision we were talking about before. Sevilda's Grudge now complete on WhiteKnight as well. So 3 items on WhiteKnight, on Dajor, 2.5 on Kobbe. Zanzarah sitting at Sterak's Gore Drinker. Carzzy, he's got the Bloodthirster. He's got the Gale Force. We have seen so many times over the years what Aphelios can do if left alone to his own devices in a team fight. But the way that promisq is engaging, the way that Astralis are playing as a team, I don't think that Carzzy's going to get a lot of free time in the next fight.
And it's kind of like a wet dream for Leona this kind of game, because the enemy team has to build plated steel caps on their top jungle, right? It's so much efficiency from the stuns. There's absolutely no kind of tenacity unless they have maybe unflinching or the legend tenacity. There's no merc threats. You have double AD top jungle, they have to build plated steel caps. Leona can just stun up everyone. And even the Thresh, with the amount of tenacity he has, just gets picked off because the second the CC lands, the poke follows up. There's the package from Dajor, 3 items strong, WhiteKnight as well. So now the question is, Astralis, do you start up Dragon, take the free Dragon and play for the soul, or do you fancy yourselves a Baron Force? But Perkz just picked up a Rabadons.
Yeah, Perkz at 3 items as well. Has been farming up a Storm 286 CS at the 26.5 minute mark. Astralis will go for the Dragon. They do still have vision up towards that Baron, so no possibility of Vitality sneaking away, and Astralis may actually look for a collapse as well. I'm wondering if they could see that Alphari was not with his team. Of course, does have the TP. Still no vision really from Vitality any further than their own jungle. Solar Flare from promisq into the root, but the Lantern is there for Perkz to escape.
So they're going to get themselves a tier 2. I mean, Astralis have good siege. You're playing 4 range champions. 3 range champions, sorry, with so much poke and so much range. Jhin, Corki, you hit a rocket, follow up with Jhin W, Jayce Q. Vitality have to be very careful. Just going to check the Baron here. They have control of their topside jungle, but of course no vision in river. And that's definitely what they want to retake. They know Astralis needs a base, so they're going to try to push out mid here and try to get some Baron vision, just to buy time for this Aphelios who needs an Infinity Edge. Then you have 3 items on your carries as well. So Vitality is as far behind as they are. Their carries will do a lot of damage in these fights if Astralis overcommit.
Alphari seems to be in a position now where WhiteKnight doesn't really want to face him in that 1v1. Camille, of course, scales so well throughout the game. The more items, the more levels you get, the more powerful you can become. promisq will spot out Alphari here. Shock Blast going to stop his recall. promisq has flash. Alphari does not. Does have that ignite. Jumps onto WhiteKnight. Vitality going to start up the Baron. WhiteKnight low, though. Alphari trying to win the 2v1 here. Pops the stopwatch. Vitality on the Baron, down to 10,000 HP. WhiteKnight's going to heal up from these minions, but Alphari should be able to escape. Now Dajor and Zanzarah on the top side. Alphari flashes. Solar Player only gets a slow. Curtains open on the top on the Baron. WhiteKnight's able to kill off Alphari. Labrov has to flash out. Carzzy has a Lantern there. He's still in the pit, but Perkz and Selfmade off towards the side. Shockwave, Dragon's Rage, still available. Astralis, WhiteKnight has a TP, but he's trying to recall first and then TP into the fight with full HP. They're waiting on it. They're keeping it aggroed for now. 3,000 HP on it. There's a TP onto the trap, and Vitality now have to answer in a 4v5 situation. promisq has joined the fight. Selfmade can steal, but they just don't want to let him get into this. The Sonic Wave comes out and tries to blast it, and Selfmade takes it. The Shockwave, Sonic Wave, Smite combination from Selfmade secures Vitality the Baron.
Oh, the map was in such a dire strait for Vitality, losing out on Alphari. All of Astralis collapsing on them. They knew they had to pull the trigger because the longer they wait, the worse it gets. Astralis would move towards them. promisq would push them away. WhiteKnight would push them away after rejoining the fight. So they have to burst it. They're on a timer, and I think it gets aggroed for a little bit too long here. Does Astralis hit it? I think Zanzarah's just trying to stack up his Q. Dajor does hit it as well. WhiteKnight, the second hit is 2k. I think Vitality's just saying, okay, everyone burst it. Jhin, Orianna, the Thresh hook, everything just go in.
400.
Selfmade will die, but the Baron will slow the game down.
And the thing with that sort of play is that is entirely a 50-50, maybe even Vitality favored, because you can Shockwave Smite combination for that extra burst of damage. Astralis, they played it well. They got the 2v1 on the bottom side, but we've seen now how strong Alphari can be. He almost outplayed that 2v1, almost was able to pick up a kill and stop Astralis from being able to answer on the Baron.
I wonder how many buffs Vitality got. I think the Orianna, the Thresh, and the Aphelios are the ones with the Baron buff. Alphari and Selfmade died. So, I mean, buffing these waves just slows down the siege so much. Not only do Astralis not have Baron, of course, but you having Baron means your creeps are buffed up more. So you can easily push these waves out. So many creeps to block all these skill shots from Corki especially. And it's just bonkers to see that the Camille is almost beating a 6-0 Jayce with a Leona by his side. Alphari finding almost a super play there for Vitality. If he got the kill and then base TP'd in, the game would have looked absolutely different.
For the moment, Astralis have to wait it out. They did get the Cloud Drake first, so Soul is an option for them in 1:30 seconds, but Vitality now the one stepping forward, gaining sight of the enemy jungle, gaining vision, placing down these wards and making it harder for Astralis to have that freedom of movement between their lanes, making it easier for Vitality to find picks. promisq, he snuck in here, but there's no one here to follow him up. Labrov will get spotted. Zenith Blade going in as well. Deadly captive audience going to come out. There's the curtain call. promisq trying to escape from Carzzy. Moonlight Vigil will get him out. It's 1-for-1. Support for support. Selfmade hits the Sonic Wave. Zanzarah knocks him back. TP now coming in. Alphari joining the fight. Perkz not here yet. Look at the damage on the Selfmade though. He's almost down before he can get out, and he's killed. Dajor takes him. Jungler down. Perkz now joining the fray. Carzzy stepping forward, but there's 40 seconds on the Soul here, Caedrel, and 40 seconds on Selfmade.
Yeah, it's kind of like a 3v3 on the map right now because Dajor's going to base. I wonder if he has package in base and then he's going to TP back. Perkz needs to catch the mid-wave. 30 seconds on Selfmade, 33 seconds on the Dragon. He definitely won't be in time. I think Vitality's just going to have to give this up. He's recalling on a ward. He's going to get cancelled. Yes, he is. Carzzy has flash, though. Astralis needs to be very careful running into that Aphelios.
I mean, just delaying his recall is all you really want to do here. You've got 20 seconds before the Cloud Soul comes up for you. Looks like Zanzarah is going to reset here as well. And we take a breath, we take a moment. 32 minutes into the game. Astralis have killed Vitality 20 times. Vitality have only answered with 8, but they're still within 4,000 gold. And we've seen over the last 5 minutes or so just how close this game has become.
Yeah, this Cloud Soul will be absolutely free, and just promisq, props to him this game. He doesn't care who he's against. Yeah. He doesn't care what the enemy team's nameplates are, how many titles they have. He couldn't give a crap. He's just going in non-stop. The trade 1-for-1 was good initially, but then Dajor and WhiteKnight collapsed and just melted through Vitality. So now Baron buff's fallen off. They have a Soul, and they have a bot wave to play on. promisq might be caught out here.
Maybe you should care just a little bit as Perkz tries to push forward here. He turns it around. There's the package. Perkz pumps us upward. promisq down. Dajor almost falls as well, but just look at the Gatling gun rattling through Vitality. Kobbe steps in. Selfmade falls, and it's just too easy for Astralis. A beautiful package delivered to the back line.
Okay, now Vitality have to run for the hills. Perkz is trying to recall in the top tri-bush. Labrov's going to get away as well, so a little bit of wave clear remains, but there's 35 seconds on the rest of them. Astralis have waves to play on. They're going to get this mid inhibitor for sure. I don't think they're going to be able to push for more because Zanzarah's gone off to the side to look for Perkz. And wow, promisq looked like he was caught. Hang on a second, curtain call.
Shockwave hits. Oh, he's dead. Kobbe couldn't get there. And the inhibitor doesn't go down either. WhiteKnight does have TP, 50 seconds before he comes back. We're going to aim for a reset, and let's have another look at this fight. promisq for a ward sacrifices his life.
Yeah, but he sacrifices it pretty well because Dajor has package, gets the chain CC on Perkz, package on 3 people, and yes, Dajor very lucky here. If he died 1 second quicker, he wouldn't have got this Gatling gun QR combo off before the Zhonya's. So much burst damage. Eliminates Vitality. Kobbe flashes to try and get Perkz. Perkz flashes away. Selfmade's on the wrong side of the map. He dies as well. Astralis kind of biting off a bit more than they can chew later on that inhibitor, but still a 1 fight for them. Only a small shutdown across to Perkz. So 1 minute on the Baron, 4 minutes on the Elder Dragon, and Medic. Astralis might just be winning this game.
And what a game it's been. Both teams have made mistakes, yes, to be sure, but both teams have shown us when it comes down to the crunch, every single player in this game wants it. Every single player in this game will fight for their lives. Vitality now 4 strong in the mid lane. Alphari off towards the side, doesn't have TP, but does have the Guardian Angel. Across the board, we're approaching full build. Perkz at 4.5 items. Carzzy, Infinity Edge, and a stopwatch here, Caedrel as well.
Definitely can, and Astralis just want to get the poke down on the carries of Vitality. First Shockback's going to miss. 1 Shockwave could decide the game here. Astralis are very aware of it. Yes, the top jungle on the front line's weak, but the carries have a lot of range, and they have a lot of damage. Carzzy building towards the Guardian Angel as well. 3 minutes on the Elder Dragon still, so Baron is a setup for both these teams, but Vitality have control of the top side river. Alphari snuck himself into some kind of flank.
promisq knows.
Astralis knows. He's on a ward.
Alphari forced away towards the bottom side of the fight. Now they step forward. Vitality start up the Baron. Perkz takes it for a little bit, but there's vision on Vitality right here. Where is Alphari? He's the guy we've got to keep track on, because if he can get onto this backline, he can absolutely shred through them. promisq in a flank position, but now Astralis is the one separated.
Oh,
they're
no,
being pinched on. Dajor the first target. Selfmade dives onto him. Dajor, though, was already able to kill him off. Dajor, Shockwave, only hits onto one. promisq now trying to get onto the backline, but Carzzy is there in the midst of it all. Curtain call. Labrov hit twice. Thrice goes to Carzzy. 4 goes wide. Alphari dives the backline, and it's all on Kobbe. He's able to get 1. promisq continues to be a thorn in the side of Vitality. And with Zanzarah alive, perhaps Vitality can manage to fight it back. Kobbe unable to find the final shots. He's shut down by Vitality, and they're TPing in, looking for the win.
Astralis were so close. They were inches away from the finish line. They had it all in their hands, but Vitality, the clutch factor, the engage, the flank from Alphari, Dajor gets shut down instantly. The shockwave didn't really find anyone, but the front to back's in Vitality's favor. Yes, the top jungle faltered in the early game, but the carries are the ones who step up. Astralis as a team weren't able to find any kind of angles to win this fight.
15 seconds on Astralis, and the Nexus will fall before that. Vitality picking up bounties, but once again it's Astralis to pick up the L. Vitality go 5-4.
Oh, Astralis so close yet so far. Just a couple more steps is all they needed, and I don't think Vitality are going to be very proud of this win, but a win's a win at this point. A little bit of laughs, a little bit of disappointment in their faces. They get the job done in the end, but boy was it messy.
What a game, and all credit to Astralis. Like, for the majority of that game, it was in their favor. Just that final team fight, as you say, that clutch factor just didn't come out for them in the end. But they fought tooth and nail against Vitality.
I'd love to see the replay of that fight because so many things happened. All I saw was Alphari dive onto Dajor. He gets popped, and then it was just kind of Kobbe and WhiteKnight versus the world. Lee Sin, I think Selfmade died pretty much instantaneously. Damn. Game of inches.
Game of inches indeed. You can vote for your key player of the games at LEC on Twitter. Alphari, Perkz, and Carzzy are your options. Shout out to promisq as well, though. Like, he had a game of the split, at least for him, perhaps game of the last couple of years, with how well he was able to just shut down Vitality and find those picks over and over again, Caedrel.
Unreal. He just kept running at them. He didn't care who they were. He didn't care what the lead was. He just wanted to fight.
He did. Now, coming up after the break, Koolein is joined by Dajor to get his thoughts on the end of the first round robin. But first, let's listen to the Warner Song of the Week, Baby Steps by David Puentes, which is available on the official LEC playlist on Spotify. Puentes.
I swear I've never been